Man, we're in chapter 17 of Alabama Moon. The boys just found a way to escape Pinson. If you remember yesterday, when Moon tells Hal to go find a car, Hal does, in fact, find something that's drivable that had keys in it, and it's the school bus. And so Moon's like, wait here, I'm going to go see if anybody else wants to go. And Hal's like, man, you're going to get us caught. And Moon runs back to the bunkhouse, turns the lights on and says, everybody stay quiet. We're busting out of here. Anybody that's coming, we got a bus waiting outside the kitchen. So Kit and Hal helped Moon to escape, and now they got a bus ready to go for all the kids that want to get the heck out of Dodge, so to speak. Chapter 17. All the other 19 boys at Pinson got on the bus with their blankets and pillows. Should we get any of this food, Moon? Nah, it'll be too much to carry, and we already have everything we need in the forest. 15 minutes after we pulled away from the boys' home, a sign said we were driving south on Highway 69. Hal sat straight in the driver's seat and squeezed the steering wheel. I stood behind him, looking out the windshield and hoping I'd see Mr. Abrascado's store. I didn't know the name of the highway that went from Tuscaloosa to Gainesville, and neither did Hal. All I knew was that it was somewhere between us and Livingston. I figured the police would find us if we tried to stay near the shelter, but I wanted to get Pap's rifle and the rest of the bullets before we found a place to live. Kit sat behind me, while the other boys jumped on the seats and yelled and fought with their pillows. Where we going? Eddie yelled. Forest, I said. What are we going to do? Man, we're going to live out there. We're going to catch our own food. We're going to stay away from the government. Everyone cheered, and I smiled back at them. We're going to make our own clothes and animal skins and swing on some vine swings. Some of the younger boys began to bounce on the school seats again. Man, we're never going to go to school. We can stay up as late as we want. Yeah, we can shoot guns and make traps and swim in creeks and catch animals for pets. I know how to do it all. Can we throw away our uniforms? You don't got to wear anything. Everybody can be naked if they want. We'll make Moon president, somebody yelled. I held up my hands in the air. And we'll whip up on anybody that tries to catch us and tell us what to do. And all the boys cheered and they shook on their seats. I was so excited my hands trembled. Kit was standing on the seat yelling and jumping along with everybody else. Hal was still quiet with his eyes locked on the road. You doing okay, Hal? Hal nodded. Yeah, but I ain't seen no signs for Gainesville. We're about to come up some place called Moundville. Man, I don't want to be president, I said. You're still president, Hal. Hal didn't answer me. He was concentrating too hard on the highway to care about what I said. Man, can't you just get them to shut the hell up and stop rocking the bus, Hal said. They're going crazy back there. Jesus, Hal said. Johnny, get them to shut up, he yelled back to one of the older boys. What's after Moundsville? What's after Moundville, I asked him. I saw a sign that said the Talladega National Forest. I think that's next. Yeah, let's go there. That sounds like a good place. What about the rifle? We can make it with without a gun for a while. I can rig just about any kind of trap there is. Weapons, too. Hal nodded. Whatever. You better know what you're talking about. I'm sure as hell going to be pissed about starving out in the forest with a bunch of crybabies. The headlights of an approaching car came into view, and Hal straightened up and gripped the wheel tightly. The car whooshed by, and Hal sank back into the seat. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the fastener I'd taken from the ping pong table. Open that door, Hal. I'm going to make a knife for us. Hal looked over at me and quickly back at the road ahead. Man, what you doing now? I can sharpen it on the road. Hal shrugged and pulled on the handle that opened the folding doors. You fall out. It's not my fault, he said. I went down the steps and lay on the landing where the road rushed by my face. I looked up and saw Kit watching me nervously. Gonna need a knife, Kit, I reassured him. Might have been easier taking one from the kitchen, Hal said. We can make this work. Man, his butt's gonna fall out, Kit. No, it's not, Kit said. I took the piece of metal and held it to the road. Orange sparks flew as I sharpened the edges and tip. In about 5 minutes, I had a knife that would do to skin an animal. I came back up the steps with my new knife and I showed it to Kit. Here, I said, you hold on to this. We're going to need it later. Kit took the knife like he had never held one before. He felt the newly sharpened edges and studied it. I turned back to watch the road with Hal. After an hour passed, the bus grew quiet. If you guys remember what time it was at night, they escaped. Moon got up at about midnight, I think, was when Mr. Gene had gone back into his house. So Moon gets up about midnight, and that's when this whole escape plan takes place. So imagine how much time it took for them to get that flap off of the trailer, to go over the fence, for Moon to send Kit onto the other side of the fence to go around to the kitchen to open the door and then get all the kids on the bus. So you're figuring it's probably pretty dark out. I'm guessing maybe 2 in the morning, give or take, depending how long they've been driving. So imagine what it would be like escaping with 19 kids on a bus with a 14-year-old driving, all going out to the Talladega National Forest. Pitch black, middle of the dark kind of time period here. After an hour passed, the bus grew quiet. Some of the boys had gone to sleep in their seats, and others had spread their blankets and pillows on the floor and slept there. I helped Hal watch for signs that told us where Talladega National Forest was. Sometimes I'd look over at Kit and he'd straighten up and smile at me like he wasn't tired. Eventually, we passed a sign that told us we were entering the National Forest area. "Where you want to go from here?" Hal asked. "Any road that goes into the forest is fine with me," I said. Before long, we came up to a sign for Payne Lake that pointed up a paved road to our left. Hal glanced at me, and I told him to take it. I turned around and noticed that we were almost there, but everyone was still asleep. I looked down at Kit. He was rubbing his eyes. "Don't go to sleep, Kit." He sat up in his chair and looked out the window. "Headed to a lake," I said. "We're going to set out from there." Kit nodded, covered his mouth, and yawned. We drove about a quarter of a mile until we came to a chain across the road. Hanging from the chain was a sign that said, "This road closed after dark." Hal stopped the bus. "What now?" "Well, we'll have to walk the rest of the way." "Man, I'm tired," Hal said. "You can't be tired. We got food to trap and a shelter to build. We haven't even found a good place to live yet." I turned to Kit. "You're not tired, are you, Kit?" Kit shook his head. "Kit's not tired." I faced the back of the bus. Hey, everybody," I yelled. "We're here. It's all the force you could ever get, all the way around, anywhere around us. It's all the force you can get everywhere around us. Come on." Some of the boys moved about on the floor and sat up in their seats. One of the 8-year-olds began to cry. "I'm cold," he whimpered. "Man, I want to go back," another boy said. "I don't want to bust out anymore." "Yeah, Hal," said one of the older boys. "Mr. Carter's going to be all over us for this. But we can live out in the forest without the government and get our own food and build our own shelter with nobody to tell us what to do," I said. Another boy began to cry, and someone from the back said he was scared. I held up my hands. "I thought everybody wanted to go." "Johnny's right," another one of the older boys said. "Man, we're all going to get in too much trouble. I'll whip up on anybody that tries to catch us." "Man, let them stay if they want," Hal said. "I don't want to listen to them." I looked at Hal, then back at the others. "All right. Anybody that wants to go back can stay here on the bus. The law will probably come for you when it gets daylight in a couple hours. Anybody that wants to go with me and Kit and Hal can come, but you can't cry. Hal doesn't like crybabies. We got to get going because we don't got much time." I grabbed my blanket, I opened the door to the bus, and I walked out onto the road. When I turned around, Hal and Kit had their blankets and pillows and were following behind me. "Better leave those pillows," I said. "Just going to get hung up on briars." "Man, what are we going to use then?" "We can use our jackets or marsh grass." Hal frowned doubtfully and threw his pillow back into the bus. Kit put his back too. "Let's go," I said. "You sure we're going to find some food before long?" Hal asked. I nodded. "We got some hiking to do first, but I'll find something for us right after daylight." I turned to Kit. "You okay?" "Uh-huh." Kit nodded. "Man, I don't know what's wrong with everybody," I said. "I thought they were all ready to go with us." "I sure don't got anything to lose," Hal said. "They're going to send me to Hellenweiler soon anyway." "Hellenweiler's not good," Kit said. "They tell stories about that place." "Well, y'all don't have to worry about Hellenweiler or Pinson or any of those places anymore. Come on."